Hello, good morning. This is H coming at you again with a tutorial video regarding SolidWorks Inventor 2023. This is going to be another object lesson tutorial for a part file. This is tutorial 5 in the series. So welcome. We are going to be looking at Autodesk Inventor. I got my window open here just to the home page area. Last time we did filter plate 2-8 as kind of our first step into part creation, into object creation. So we're going to be taking another step in that direction, doing a very similar object to filter plate 2-8, just again to kind of go through that process again. So here we go. We'll just jump right in. We're going to start with a brand new part file. Actually, let's pull the drawing over first. Let's pull the drawing over first. So here's our drawing here. This is going to be guide gasket 217, a very, very simple shape, a very simple block, very similar style to the filter plate 2-8 that we did in tutorial 4. So again, we have our front view, we have our top view showing our thickness of the material itself, and then we have our isometric view here in the upper right-hand corner, our three-dimensional view. So our front view, again, gives us the most information. Whenever you are looking at recreating a part in Inventor or any other type of software like this, it is normally best to start with the view that gives you the most information first. It also is for just the quickness of getting it done for the least amount of steps, etc. And so we're going to be starting from this front view here. Again, I personally like to teach and start objects from, especially an object like this, from this bottom left hand corner of the part object itself, and that'll be at the 0, 0 origin point in the software, in the environment that we're going to draw this in. So I'm going to pull this drawing to the side here and get started. So there again, there's the drawing. I'm going to pull this over here so I can reference it as we move forward. So the first thing I need to do is I need to open up a new part file. This part file is an inches part. So English, standard inches, create. Here we go. So here's our operating window here, our user interface. We talked about in other tutorial videos. If you haven't seen those, go back and watch those as you can kind of navigate the tabs and the ribbon here. Our model browser window that is here, and then this is our three-dimensional environment here. So we're going to start our sketch, and again, we're starting our sketch on the XY plane specifically because we are starting on the front view and drawing that front view of our part that we are going to create. So we're going to start there, and that takes us into that plane. We are now actively sketching. We can see that the highlighted sketch tab is there. We have our finish sketch check mark here on the side. Our sketch is not grayed out here in the model window. Everything else is. And we have our origin of our part here at 0, 0, where X value is 0, Y value is 0. And right now we have a fully constrained sketch because we have no sketch. So once we start drawing, we're going to see the items that are going to be needed to be done in order to make sure that our sketch is fully constrained. All the relations and constraints are added, all the dimensions are added, and we should be good to go, right? So we're going to start with a line tool. We talked about the line tool before, and we're going to draw from this. Again, our green dot kind of hits that origin, it snaps to that spot. We're going to go up. The length of this line that we need is 2.5 inches. And again, I'm hitting I can hit the tab key and I can tab back and forth between the 2.5 inches or the degrees that are needed. I'm going to hit escape here and just kind of redo that as we kind of messed up a little bit on what it looked like. So 2.5, I'm able to type that in. Now, if I needed to change the 90 degrees, which I do not because this is a vertical line, which you can notice right here, this symbol, and we talked about this before in another tutorial, this symbol is the vertical constraint symbol, which means that this line must be vertical by definition, must be parallel to the y-axis, right? So that's what that symbol means. If I hit the enter key right now, I should be able to get a vertical line, and there it is. So now again, we have this weird thing where we gotta hit the front view to kind of zoom out a little bit on the view cube to get a better view of everything that we're looking at. And we can see we haven't left the line tool yet. I did my typing of that 2.5-inch vertical line. You can see the symbol right there, kind of near my mouse cursor. And we need to now draw another line. And since we're still in the line tool, we can just kind of get our mouse into position and say, okay, we're ready to draw this in. What's the length? And so I'll go to my drawing. The length of this is 4. It is a perpendicular line, which means there's a right angle, a 90-degree angle, where the two lines that I'm drawing are going to meet. This is good. This is exactly what I need. So I will hit enter again, still in the line tool. Now I'm coming down. I'm working on the outside perimeter of this front view of this drawing, this sketch that I'm creating. Outside perimeter first, establish those boundaries, and then any interior details, we'll work on those after, and at the end we'll finish it up. So this again is a 2.5-inch line just coming down this way. So I can hit enter here, but it didn't do anything because I didn't type it, right? You need to make sure, again, I could click or I could hit enter. If I hit enter, it's not going to do it as I'm coming down. You see there's a weird situation here with the line tool. If you're coming off of a line and you hit enter without hitting the numerical, actually typing in 2.5, no, it said 2.5. It said it was there. If I hit enter on the keyboard, it's not going to create it. If I click with the mouse, it will. So it created it, but what it's left out, as you can see, it's left out a dimension with my mouse click instead of hitting the enter key. It's left out this dimension here, right? So if I dimension this line with the dimension tool to 2.5, it says fully constrained again. So it's a weird hiccup, the habit that the software gets into with between hitting the enter key and clicking with your mouse. You click with the mouse to end a line. It might not put the dimension in for you automatically like it was when we were typing in the value of the line and hitting the enter key. So if you're continuing around, just be cautious, making sure that you have the dimensions in there and move forward in making the part. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down here and draw a line. We're going back to the other direction horizontally, and we need a 1.5-inch line coming this way. Then we have a line that's going to be going up vertically 1 inch. So we'll type that in. And again, I'm typing these fairly quickly, mainly because I'm typing this in and I'm getting the line kind of where I need it to go already, making sure that it's straight, perpendicular, making sure it has all those values, all those values other than the dimensional length. And then I can just type in the dimensional length and hit enter because I've seen the other constraints already in place. So the last line here, again, is just connecting back to 0, 0. So here is an instance where we can just mouse click. And then I'll right click and click OK. And we could just mouse click here because it had a defined endpoint of 0, 0 with a line already there. And the 0, 0 mark is already an entity within the environment already. So now we are fully constrained, right? Without even having to define what this length of line is, because we know it's 4 overall, 1.5 here, 1 inch here. This line can be nothing else than another 1.5-inch line. By mathematical reason, we can't change this. It always will be that based upon the definitions and the constraints given on the other aspects of the other lines as a part of this perimeter and this part file so far. So there we go. We have everything in place. We are fully constrained. We are looking good. Now, the next component of this part is the interior component. I'm going to move these dimensional lines, to kind of move them out. You can move them kind of outside the inner perimeter, move these dimension lines out of here. Just kind of click and hold down and kind of drag them around. This little symbol will appear next to the mouse cursor that look like arrows, directional arrows. And so you can click, when that arrow appears, you can click on that and kind of drag it to where you want it to be to make your sketch look clean, to make it look efficient. And so that's what we got. We have now these circles that are going to go into here. So we'll draw the circle. tool, we'll click our starting point and expand it out. The diameter of this circle is 0.5, so it's a ½ inch. We have another one that's going to go over here. Now, here's a good opportunity to look at something specific. These dotted lines that appear, let me move that mouse cursor right there. This dotted line, what Inventor is doing here in this instant is it is trying to help you. It is trying to line up the center of the circle that you're currently drawing with the center of the circle that was already drawn. And that dotted line appears there to say, hey, this is where they line up. So you can visually see that. The other thing that might appear as I move my mouse cursor here now, we have an additional dotted line that has appeared. This dotted line goes down to the bottom horizontal line there of the outside perimeter of the part. And that is the midpoint of that line. So you'll see these dotted lines appear, these construction lines appear when they're center points, midpoints, corners, endpoints, where Inventor might say, hey, you might want something here, right? And then maybe you're looking for a midpoint or a halfway point, or again, if you're on the line, it'll kind of just click on the line for you. So be careful with that, because sometimes you don't want these to line up, right? Depending upon what your dimensions are in your sketch that you're trying to recreate. So we're going to make our secondary circle here a 0.5 diameter circle. Actually, let's go back. Let's delete that real quick. We can see a circle. We have 2 dimensions needed. We talked about this in a different tutorial video. We talked about how a circle always needs 3 dimensions. It needs its diameter or radius. You can use either one, just times the radius by 2, multiply it by 2, and you get your diameter. It also needs its X value where it is horizontally in the space, and its Y value where it is vertically in the space. And this is all measured from 0, 0 right here. And so when we look at a drawing, we need to pay attention to particularly to the location values that are given to us in the sketch for the circles, because we need 2 dimensions are needed. We know we need X value, Y value for where the circle is. Otherwise, it will just keep being able to move like this, and it won't be in a perfect location for our object creation that we are making. So that's good to see. I'm going to draw that circle again just to make sure that it goes back in there. And you can see as we add that one, now we need 4 dimensions, because this circle now also needs the X value, Y value placements for where that circle is in the space that is here on our sketch. So we're going to go to the dimension tool. We're going to click on this line and then this circle. And this gives us the X value, how far away it is from that. And we are given a dimension of 0.75 in our sketch. So we know that. That is our horizontal dimension, our X value dimension of where that circle is. We are now down to 3. So you can see these needed dimensions are ticking away. This is important. Then we need our Y value. So we're going to need to click on the bottom line and then the circle again. And this Y value here is going to be, we have a little math that we need to do here. So this is something new, You can actually type in a mathematical problem, a little equation formula here, and Inventor will solve that for you. Right? We could do the mental math if we tried and we wanted to, but why not use Inventor software for everything it can do? So we have a total height that was given to us of 2.5, but our dimensional line that's given to us is 0.75 down from the top. So we're gonna do a little math here, because we measured this from the bottom, from the 0 axis, X axis, to measure upwards on the how far it is up Y. So we measured it from 0 going up. So we have to do a little math here of 2.5 minus 0.75. So we can type that in as that equation, 2.5 subtracting 0.75, and hit enter. And you can see it got changed right there from that small equation box. And there's our circle in the right location, and everything is good. So we can do the same thing for this circle here. We're going to dimension this. We'll dimension it from this line here. That's what we're given in the drawing. This dimension here is 0.75 away from this outside border line. And then from the top down this way, this dimension is that 0.75. right? So the holes do line up with each other. They are lined up. This 0.75 dimension is the same for this one. We just measured it from the bottom up with this dimension of the 2.5, subtracting the 7.5. And then on this other one, we did it the other way, measuring from the top down. So like I tell my students, there are many ways to get to the end of what you're creating where it will be correct, but it's the amount of steps that you take to get there which will prove your efficiency and your competency with the software itself. So this is just another example of many ways to do this to come up with the correct answer in the correct situation. So this is our finished sketch. We are done with sketch one. There's our sketch one that's there. And we're going to finish that sketch and expand it out to a nice little large home view to see it from the isometric angle here that we got. And we're going to go to the extrude tool. Extrusion, remember, it adds depth. It adds material to a profile, a closed-in shape. Ready? The circle is a closed-in shape. This circle is a closed-in shape. This whole thing here, this is a closed-in shape known as a profile. So we're selecting the profile we want the object to be, which is this one here. We want to double check our drawing. It says it is a 1-inch thick plate block here, right? So we don't need to change anything here with 1 inch at all. We don't need to change the direction of anything. We don't have to. Like, it won't make any difference if we do or not. So we're just going to leave it. It's a solid body. So we're just going to click OK. And this is our guide gasket 217. Guide gasket 217. If we want to check the mass, we would go to the part name here, My Properties. We'd go over to the physical tab. We'd update that physical tab. And right here, 0.311 pound mass. That is the pound mass of this part file in a generic material setting. And that's what you would check right there to see if you were correct in recreating this part from the drawing. So thank you all for watching. Have a great day.